What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Corey here on the C Midas channel. You see I'm getting set up here to do the spark plugs, as the title says. My car is a 034 Stage 2 Plus. It's a 2012 Audi A6 3.0T, obviously. But with the Stage 2 cars, most of the tuners recommend going with a colder spark plug. And what that does is it pulls out more heat from the combustion chamber to keep, to help keep detonation at bay, because the cars with the smaller pulleys are spinning the supercharger faster. Or if you just have the bigger crank pulley like me, I got the 207 crank pulley, and it's spinning the supercharger faster, so the supercharger air is getting hotter. So it's blowing hotter air into the combustion chamber. So, and then also, some more boost and everything. So everything is getting hotter in the combustion chamber. And so that could lead to detonation if you don't control the heat. So I do have the APR Ultra Charger not installed, but it came with these BKR9EIX plugs, which are a colder iridium plug. So I'm going to be installing these today. And I know I'm doing a video on changing spark plugs, but you can see already on this crowded engine bay is not as straightforward as most cars. So there's some things got to be removed, like the air box, and the most annoying thing is you're going to have to remove the coolant reservoir. So you're going to lose some coolant. So you're going to need some coolant and some tools like a ratchet, T25 torque bit, and a T20 Torx bit, an extension, of course, some small flatheads to get some of these out of place, and maybe Phillips. And I'm using some dielectric grease, which I see a lot of people don't mention or use, but this is very important because you can actually mess up your coil pack. I haven't actually seen that happen before, because the old coil packs, of course, they're gonna dry, especially if someone's changed them before and didn't put dielectric grease in. When you try to pull them out, that rubber on the inside of them is sticking to the spark plug, and it makes them hard to pull out. And sometimes they stick so much that you will actually rip the rubber on the coil pack, and then you end up having to get a whole new coil pack. So using that, you just need some dielectric grease and a Q-tip. So, but we'll see how hard these are to pull out. Hopefully they're not too hard, but I haven't changed the plugs on this car since I've had it, so it's going to be interesting to see what plugs are in there. Most likely they're going to be stock factory plugs. This car is at 104,000. I think when I bought it, it was like at 82 or 84,000, somewhere around there. So not too many miles on it since I've had it the last few years. But what else? I think that's going to be it. Just got all the tools. Going to have to remove the air box. You can see I already have some of the stuff loose to make the process go faster. The big headache is probably going to be this side. So anyway, let's get started. All right, you guys, first thing we're going to do is remove this intake. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention for the tools was you're going to need a 5/8 spark plug socket. And you can see a spark plug socket has that rubber inner right there to grab the spark plug to keep it from falling out. For those of you that don't know, maybe your first time doing spark plugs, But we're going to take this off. There's usually two holders right here that you have to plastic. My car didn't have them when I got it, so. But there's two right here. You just kind of take a flathead, pop them up, and pull them out. Remove that. Then there's two T25 bolts that I already took out. There's one here, and then another one behind this, up there. And that connects this to this intake. So you can either pull that out or leave it, or but then that allows you to move this whole thing as one piece. But and then you can also see I have all of this loose already for the tube. Just gonna remove that, pull that off, and hold the camera for me. Actually pull this out as one whole piece. See, I need to change my filter and be changing that soon. Alright, and that's going to give us access to this side. You see we have all the access we need now on this side. It's just the other side. That's somewhat of a nightmare. So we're going to take our T25 and loosen these. They're probably actually hand loose already. And just be careful, don't let these fall. Get these out of the way. Now for the tricky part, to getting these coil packs off. You heard that snap. What I did was I pushed in, pushed down on that tab, and pull back. Yeah, because sometimes if you just pull down on the tab and pull back, they won't come out, and people end up putting a flathead in there and end up breaking these. So always push in on the whole thing, pull down on that tab, you might hear it click, and then pull back. And let's see how hard these are to pull out. They feel kind of hard already. Sometimes if they're too hard, you could just get you might be able to pry a small flathead under here or something to help get these out. But just be careful not to put too much pressure and break them. Oh, so these aren't too bad. There's some that I've seen. You can see the inner part of that right there has that rubber, and that's where you put the silicone. And when you buy these new, they're gonna have like little green strips of silicone in there, but that's what that's for. All right, we're gonna get our might need a longer socket. No, I don't. Get your extension, get your 5/8. We want to see what these look like and what plugs are in here. But whoever had this car before me, they kept care of it. This car hasn't really given me a lot of problems at all, if any, aside from, you know, maybe some install and some aftermarket parts and stuff. And this car doesn't really burn a lot of oil either, but I'm at the like I said, 100,000 mile mark is when people usually change out the PCV. Yeah, stock VW. Stock VW plug. And it looks like, looking at the history of that, they were taking this car to the dealer to get all the work done. Looking at some of the old receipts and stuff that were in the glove box. I kind of had a feeling it was going to be a stock plug in there. These aren't in there super tight either. One thing I didn't mention was that the big SoCal Euro is coming up next week. So I might be drag racing this car at the big SoCal Euro. So it's good that I'm swapping out these plugs because, you know, of course, you're going to be doing like a few runs. So get our plugs ready. And you can put some anti-seize on these, but the newer plugs, it's more of an old school thing than on steelhead. The newer plugs, the way they make them, and these are aluminum, so they don't really need them, but you can. And these, the gap for that some tuners call for is like 0.028 or 0.026 inch. These come gapped at 0.028. I already checked, so I don't need to gap these. I'm just gonna leave it at 0.028. And I think on 34 that I don't think that they recommended to run a lower heat range plug with their tune. I'm pretty sure they're not against it, you know. So you want to get these started by hand. Some people, it's very rare that I've seen people torque these. I forgot what the torque would be for these, but I've always done it, just tighten them by hand, because they do have a little metal gasket on the end that you want to make sure is sealed. So I've actually drag raced on this car already. In fact, if you're new here, I've done some videos of the drag races on this car with good results. So, but it was like in Mexico. So I might leave if you go back and check the channel. So I just put some silicone on there. And I just take the Q-tip and run it around in there. Do all three of these. And this ain't a used Q-tip, y'all. It's just dirty from my hands. And these do have these two notches right here that line up with these two notches here. You can see those two notches there. So just make sure they line up so it goes in. And then as you're pushing in on them, you'll feel them snap in. Give them all a good push, make sure. Push these back in. Make sure you hear that snap. Get our bolts, put our bolts back. I think I'm gonna end up powder coating these valve covers at some point. Kind of want to start them by hand so you don't over torque these and snap these. I'm just going to give them probably like a little quarter turn. That one fell loose. That's good. All right, now we're going to move to the other side. And gonna have to take these locking rings up, and you don't need to take them out, you just need to pull them up till they stop. Loosen the cap to relieve any pressure out of there. And of course, you guys, you don't want to do this with a hot engine because you know, of course the metal's going to expand. Then you could end up stripping the spark plug thread. So make sure the engine is cooled down. Doesn't have to be ice cold, but just make sure it's cooled down. All right, once you have these back, they'll just slide off. Then I'm gonna take our T25 and take this one off. And there's another one down here for the bottom line. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me turn the light won't come on, but there's one down here right there, so you just pull that one out, and I already got it pulled out. Just gonna pull up on that. Oh, I'm forgetting one thing. Right here on the side there's another connector, and the clip is on the bottom. So same thing, push in, then pull back on it. And it should just come right out like that. I'm trying to pull this out. Yeah, the bottom one doesn't want to come out. Yeah, looks like you might have to get a flathead or something in there. Kind of pry that back. Oh, and I forgot. You gotta put this under the car to catch any food that will drop. Move that out the way. I was gonna just turn it over, but then I would have been stuck with this with more coolant dropping down. It would have spilled over here. So See, I lost my Q-tip already. Oh, what the hell I did with it? I'm gonna wipe some of this off. And use an extension. Sometimes you can, it's enough to get these loose by hand. Don't need to be in there super tight. Alright, same thing. Last one's, this is in the way. I'll be coming back, so I'll try to pull that one out first. Might need a longer one with all this stuff in the way. Yeah, let me get a longer extension real quick.
No, no.
Come around here, Donovan. Years of dependable service. Would have been nice if they would have put that coolant reservoir in a different location, so you don't have to take all this, you know, take all the stuff off and lose coolant. I think even when, like, if you're doing valve cover gaskets, you're gonna have to do that. Well, I can see I got a little oil on the plugs on this side, so looks like I'm going to be doing valve cover gaskets soon. What did I do with my Q-tip? careful guiding the spark plug in, because if you end up hitting it, you can end up bending that insulator or that ground strap right there and bending it and messing up your spark plug gap, or even breaking the tip. These thin iridium tips are easy to break, so even when you're gapping them, you got to be careful. What I do with the last one? And when you put these in, make sure it seats in there, of course, and you know, so it doesn't end up falling out. Get some more dielectric grease. When you're putting grease in, see how I was moving it up and down to get all the rubber in there. Careful putting these back on. Don't ever break them or anything. Right, you guys, I'm gonna put this back together. You know, of course, putting everything back is the reverse of removal. So to save myself some camera time, I'm just gonna put everything back together, and then we'll come back and start it up. All right, you guys, got everything back together. I actually had forgot to put those two screws in for the wire loom harness, coil pack wire loom harness. So I just took this out, raised it up, got a long extension, and went in. I was able to tighten it like that without having to take this back off. But anyway, let's start this up right quick, see how it sounds. Right up. Sounds good. I'm like I said, the race is next weekend. I do have a ported charger that I haven't put on here yet. I've been meaning to put that on the car by then. Actually, I wanted to do some stuff this summer, but there weren't even a lot of shows, and then I had a lot going on this summer of other stuff that I had to do that kind of took precedence over that. I do have the Ultra charger, but I didn't really think the ultra charger was gonna do anything unless, you know, you port that the throttle body intake port. So I might go ahead and install it if I don't install the ported supercharger. But I really wanted to do a before and after dyno, a dyno as I'm set right now, and then another dyno with the ported charger. So, but if, you know, it depends on how next week goes. If I get a chance to install it, I might just install it and then just do a dyno, because I think it's pretty much known what these cars are doing on stage 2 on the dyno, so I might check around for that. But I'm in Cali, so it's a lot hotter out here. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.